Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with episode 2268 of the Cabral Concept. Always great to be checking in with you on these Friday reviews. Today's show is going out live on April 22nd. If you are listening same day, amazing. We appreciate you because I always love being able to share with you each and every Friday what is going on inside of our global practice. It used to be a Boston practice where I had 2 different locations. We'd probably be helping 20,000 or so people or appointments per year. And that was always amazing. And I always loved it. And I was always appreciative. But then very slowly after the 2016, 2017, we started to bring our protocols, specifically first our functional medicine detox, then our daily nutritional support, then a couple labs. And it moved from like 1 product, which was a detox, to 2, just very slowly on my website, to now over 100 different labs and protocols, everything, not some things, but now everything we used inside of my Boston-based practice, where now we help at least 10x the amount of people. So, truly amazing. Love being able to essentially just still connect in the same way. I mean, what I've always loved to do is teach. That's it. So before it was teaching really one-on-one, and now I have an amazing team of about 20 different health practitioners and managers and everyone running that part of the practice. And I'm still fortunate that I get to oversee many of the cases and labs that might be more of the challenging ones and helping to simply do my best. But I always love to bring you, though, what's going on in the practice. And this week, it's not necessarily a somber moment. I don't want to say that because, the world's always changing. It really is. It's one of those things. My wife and I have these conversations all the time. It's been crazy the last couple of years with my daughters and their schools and all that. And, it's not how it was. That's basically it. But again, the more things, I don't know, I don't want to go down that line, but there's always change, right? There's always change. And so one thing for Equal Life, I can share with you this. Over the past 6 years, we have always, literally the highest quality ingredients in the world. Third-party testing. We do 2 double batch testing, means the ingredients come in. If there's any contamination, they never even enter into the facility to be used, right? And then we test dosage-wise, and same thing going out. So, it's a pretty rigorous process. It's expensive, but if they're going in my body, my 2 daughters' bodies, my wife's, my family, my parents, and our private practice, well, of course, I want that for everyone. And so that process is obviously expensive, but we've always maintained the same prices. We've never gone up at Equal Life. So much so that we just said, listen, we'll take the brunt of it. Again, every dollar goes right back into our own research and formulation. It always goes back in the company. But over the past 6 months, I have to say it's now just gotten too much with increased shipping, not for you, of course, we just keep the same shipping prices, whatever we're charged, we pass on, but shipping to get the ingredients to our different locations and the cost of ingredients as well. You've probably seen this around the industry. Unfortunately, we thought we were going to be able to weather it. It's just not happening. We have ingredient costs of like 30% plus. It's really, really wild. And unfortunately, what I do have to say is that, fortunately, many of our top ones we're keeping at those same great low prices, especially for what you are getting. But you will see starting next week, so in 3 days from now, you will see some price increases. Again, we haven't done it in 6 years, but you will be seeing them starting next Monday. So I just wanted to let you know that if you are interested this week, what I would do is I would simply, if you can, sign up for a subscription. 1, you get 15% off. That's the bottom line. And you get grandfathered in at the price. So you're going to be saving 15 off the regular price before that even goes up. And so again, I just wanted to give you a fair warning. It's literally out of our control. We literally would not be in business if we didn't do this. We're already operating on the slimmest of margins. And again, every dollar, I don't take money out, every dollar goes back into our team and our company. And new formulations, like you saw, our brand new longevity line with over a dozen products come out last January. That cost a lot to be able to research and formulate and create. And we have the new app debuting in just a couple of weeks. So all of these things, again, are capital capital intensive. We always want the best for you, and our prices will still be fantastic. But again, for the first time in 6 years, they are going up. So if you'd like to take advantage, head on over to stevencabral.com/shop. All right. That is what has been going on, because it's been all consuming and frustrating for me, just like it's been frustrating for you watching gas prices go up and watching everything go up. It's just, I hope that hopefully the world, gets its head screwed on straight soon, but we can only do our best living in our own world. And I'm always going to try to do my best for you as well. All right. Thank you. Next up, I want to do a podcast recap before we get to our herb of the week and product review of the week that I think you'll find quite fun as well. All right. So on Monday, we went through why you must choose your sacrifice. For me, this meant a lot. It really, this podcast meant a lot to me. These are all Mindset and Motivation Mondays. I'm either giving you something that I'm working on with a private wellness client, family member, someone in the community like an IHP, or I'm working on myself. And the one on Monday is something I'm always thinking about, because I'm always torn. I'm always torn every single day in life. And I explain that on the podcast. I really do. And so hopefully you check that out. That was 2264. 2265 was sneaky words for sugar on product labels. Number 2266. This is part 3. I mean, this is one you'll want to check out. The fat adapted myth explained. So, it really is a myth. And that's the thing, is like, I'm telling you right now, there are clinicians and then there's marketers in the health-based space. I understand the game, so I get it with all the marketers, but really you want to work with a clinician. You really do. You want to be working with a naturopathic doctor, an integrative health practitioner, a functional medicine, someone not that just does hormones, but actually specializes in natural health. I really think that you want to work with companies that are either run by clinicians or functional medicine based, something like that, because people are just out there selling crazy, crazy stuff. They really are. And, for people to just say, hey, take this ketone ester or whatever it is. And again, I'm not naming any names because I don't even know the company that I'm even thinking about when I say something like that. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you become fat adapted. You don't. You just start burning the supplement you put in your body as fuel. So now you're not even breaking down more fatty acids. But again, they'll never even tell you that. So anyway, that's why I do these podcasts. They're completely free. This was that episode was 2,266. And you can search all previous podcasts at stevencabral.com/podcast. The podcast will always be free. And hopefully it's just an ongoing drip of information that hopefully from a source that you can trust. But again, trust no one, always verify. And I'm always here for you to talk on other topics as well. Most of these are all listener generated. All right. And yesterday's show is why sprinting is the most overlooked beneficial form of exercise. I hope you tune into that show too, because I don't care if you are 88 years old, you need to tune into this show. Powerful, powerful one. All right. All right. Before we get into our product review, I've skipped 2 weeks now on the herb of the week, and I don't like to do that because I made a promise in 2022, just like I did way back in, I think it was 2019. That I went through a vitamin of the week. I want to go through an herb of the week to introduce you to herbs that you may not have heard of before, right? I love my herbs like quercetin, which are some extracts, things like that. But I want to go over some more random ones. And the one today is called Genistein. And this is one typically used in traditional Chinese medicine. It is, it's essentially in the pea family, but it's from the pagoda tree, or often called the scholar tree. And it's a great, great extract. It's essentially a fruit-based extract, but no sugar, of course, because I know people get all up in arms if there's 1 or 2 grams of sugar in something, which again is just a misnomer and myth perpetuated by, again, I don't think they're trying to do any harm, but gurus inside of the fitness and health-based industry. But anyway, Genistein has been known for thousands of years to help with what I call like 3 main benefits. The first one is bone, the second one is glucose, and the third one is hormones. Now, all of those really go together though. And one of the reasons why this one's so powerful and often used for, I would say, perimenopausal and postmenopausal women is that peri and postmenopausal women, and even as you're kind of moving into premenopause, maybe into like your later 30s, early 40s. And again, the age is different for each woman. I mean, I know women in their early 40s moving into perimenopause, and I know women in their mid 50s. So it's like, there's like a 10-year range. And I won't go, I've already talked about many, many times of why there is a range as well. But what I want to share with you is that when estrogen levels start to drop, you could have substantial bone loss. You could also have dysregulated glucose to a degree, and you could have higher levels of cholesterol and triglycerides, even if you're eating a healthy diet. So I like to share with people that there's a lot we can do naturally without adding more hormones to the body. One of those things is Genistein. And the reason why, and it's pronounced sometimes Genistein, like there's just different pronunciations, but that's all semantics for the most part. It's just Geni, sometimes it's Estein. And the way that it works is that it essentially has natural phytoestrogenic-like properties, which means when you put it and consume it in your body, you block's not the right word. You take up estrogen receptors on the sites. I guess that's the best way to say it, on cell sites, so that more powerful estrogens, like let's say estradiol, are not able to take up those same spots if there's a lot of estrogen already free float in the body. So this is a much gentler way to give estrogenic properties to women. We just use this with women. Now, there'd be an argument to make for men with prostate issues, et cetera, but I think that this is, I think, more appropriate for either men later in life, let's say 60 plus, or women 40 plus. We use it in a product called Daily Bone Support, but you can also use the herb on its own as well. So essentially, again, we're using this for low estrogen-based symptoms. How do you know if you have low estrogen? Honestly, I have a quiz to check it out. It's a free assessment and quiz. That's at stephencabral.com/assessments. But the very best way is to run an at-home lab test called the Stress Hormones, Mood, and Metabolism Test. And if you have lower estrogen, so if you're still getting your cycle, you want to take it around days 19, 20, or 21 of your cycle when estrogen's kind of at its low point, progesterone's at its high point, and you want to be above a 0.5, we'll put it that way. You want to be between a 0.5 and a 1.2, and our IHPs know this. But as you start to get down to 0.5, it's quite low estrogen, even for the luteal phase of your cycle. So that is that. And again, lots more to come on all of these different herbs. But again, if you're dealing with osteoporotic issues, again, first of all, I want to say I'm not promoting anything for medical treatments, medical diagnosis, or medical cures. But if you're dealing with any menopausal, hormonal, mood, bone, cholesterol issues, it might be a good herb to look into. All right. Lots of research. I will link up about a half a dozen studies over at stephencabral.com/2268. All right. Product review of the week. This is a fun one for me because I've really, I haven't talked about this in the podcast because honestly, I'm not looking for a gold star or anything. And I also don't want to necessarily sway other people's viewpoint, but I've given, again, when I say this, like I drink alcohol, let's say twice a month. Like I'll go out with friends, I'll go out with my wife, and like it's literally 1 or 2 Fridays a month. And it's just a social thing. I have maybe 1.5 drinks. That's it. And again, I don't think that, again, I'm looking for any special medal for that. And I'm not necessarily saying it's the right lifestyle for you, but I just know that if I drink alcohol, my deep sleep is almost non-existent. It goes from I typically get like an hour and a half of strong deep sleep, and I get at least 2 hours of REM sleep. My heart rate's elevated by at least 5 points. My heart rate variability drops by at least 5 points. Deep sleep drops by like an hour. It's just, again, like I don't really feel too much different the next day, but I'm certainly running down my body, and it just like, is it worth it? And sometimes it is. Like sometimes the trade-off is like, yeah, I want to have a drink tonight. And then I do. Again, like, so I'm not saying that I can't do it. I just typically decide, listen, I want to just feel good. Like that's the whole point. The whole point is to feel good. I exercise, not to look a certain way, but to feel good, right? I get my sleep at night because I want to feel good. So that was all like on Monday's show. I talked a lot about that. And again, I'm always torn from like both sides. So, because I'll be at a lot of social events, I'll be at a lot of business meetings, things like that. And I get invited out and I don't drink and I don't want other people to feel awkward. I just say, listen, like, I'm not having it. I always just say, it's a school night. I've got recording tomorrow. I've got meetings and I'm just not having a drink tonight. Or sometimes I do and I just drink like half of it. So anyway, I reviewed a product called Minna the other day. And that is one of my favorites. So that's been a really nice one. If you didn't check out that show, we'll link it up today at 2268. But today I was introduced to a new brand and it's called Sound. Again, I'm not a spokesperson for any of these brands. If you're watching this on video, you see me holding up the can. It's actually a pretty beautiful design. These guys have great package designers. This is, and I always do the ones that are caffeine free. So just for your knowledge, I always go like no green tea, no anything. But this is sparkling tea. It says with botanicals, and this one is blueberry, cinnamon, and hibiscus. It's funny because hibiscus is really starting to catch on. I've been enjoying hibiscus tea for like 20 years. I talked about my story before in hibiscus of when I was first introduced to it when I was feeling terrible in Mexico. But now it's everywhere. And hey, for me, it's fantastic because I'm a huge fan. Nice high vitamin C and many others. So the ingredients in this are filtered sparkling water, hibiscus, blueberry extract, cinnamon extract, and citric acid. And everything is organic, even the citric acid. So we know if it's organic, it's non-GMO because that's how it works. If something's non-GMO, it doesn't mean it's organic, but if it's organic, it definitely means that it's non-GMO, right? So it's not genetically modified. So I had this one, and this is definitely my favorite. This is the blueberry cinnamon one. So I enjoyed this one. They don't have a ton of flavor, to be honest with you, but it's a nice, refreshing, different drink, and I can have this instead of alcohol. So what do? I typically just squeeze lime in these. And one of the reasons why I squeezed lime in this one called Sound, and I'll link this up today as well, but also the Minna, which I really like, that's like my favorite sparkling one, is the lime. Well, because all of these are very low pH. If something's canned, it's not going to typically be higher pH. And the reason is that if it has things in it, you don't want it to grow mold, right? So you have to go lower. pH. This has citric acid to bring down the pH. That's why that's in there. So again, because there's all these gurus out there saying all this stuff. But anyway, the Minna doesn't use citric acid. It uses low pH extracts. It might be like a lime extract or something like that. But I add the fresh lime, and that actually brings the pH up, and it adds a little bit more potassium. So I'm enjoying these right now. How often do I have them? Not often. But at dinner, if I wanted like some fun drink instead of alcohol, pour one of these in a little glass, squeeze a little lime in, and I'm good to go. So if you're looking for something different that's essentially all organic, pretty clean, check out Minna and check out Sound. I will also in the future be bringing you some fun, non-alcoholic, euphoria-based drinks. I don't know if you've seen these, but they're starting to become very popular. And I had one over the weekend when I was at a conference. And you know what? It was pretty great. To be honest with you, it was pretty fantastic. I felt good the next day. Check my sleep numbers. My sleep numbers were great. So I'll pass many of these on to you. Just keep staying tuned for these Friday reviews. All right, that is that. We are now on to our 2 research studies of the week. First one first. This one, let's see, which one do I want to give you first? Well, we were just talking about all these fun little extracts. Let's do this one first. This one is out of, let's see where it was published. I have the study right here, but I want to actually share with you where the research was conducted. I like to get right to the source. So this is a study that was researched in Osaka University. All right, so there we go. So it is on quercetin, and it's actually not necessarily just on quercetin. So it's on Tartary Buckwheat extract. I had never heard of Tartary buckwheat extract, so I love learning new things. So let me just give you a little excerpt. Research have found that quercetin, a component of the traditional Chinese herbal medicine Tartary buckwheat extract, can induce autophagy and agregophagy. I'm going to share a separate podcast coming up with that one in skin and liver cells. These findings may have implications for the treatment of diseases associated with protein aggregation, such as alcohol liver disease and Alzheimer's. In a study published last month in Antioxidants, researchers from Osaka University revealed that the ingredient in Chinese buckwheat liquor, which contains various herbal medicine extracts, can induce autophagy, a process that cells use to clean up proteins that are damaged and no longer needed. Autophagy plays an important role in diseases such as cancer and Alzheimer's, so finding a way to encourage this process is a topic of considerable interest. Herbal substances are of intriguing potential source of compounds that could be used in this type of treatment. I could go on and on with this. What I'm going to do is link up the study for you because it says that this works and it suggests that you could use a quercetin extract instead. Well, lo and behold, I just want to share with you again, this is why we love being able to get you this information decades in advance. We've been talking about quercetin way before the pandemic. I've been using it now for, well, over 15 years. I kind of always say 15 years, but it's more than 15 years now. And it has been absolutely a game changer for my allergies. But now we're finding it's working for anti-aging, mitochondrial health, and so much more. So I'm telling you right now, I mean, again, don't wait for the science. And if you're watching this on video, you see the air quotes, but don't wait for the science to catch up, right? These are things that we've been known has been working in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. I use a product called Hist Pro, but you can also look at any quercetin-based product that your doctor or health coach-based recommends. So really, really great. I love to see that because it's inducing autophagy without us even being in that longer fasted state, which, by the way, if hopefully science will catch up one day to functional medicine detoxification as well, which, by the way, there's a lot of science on it. But hopefully one day there'll be a big paper published on it as well. All right, the last research study of the day, and again, I'll link up these research studies for you if you want, so you can go deeper. It's called this: licorice-derived substance may have anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer-based effects. Now, of course, I'm going to get into it, but let me just share the disclaimer: no medical advice, no medical treatment plans, no medical cures offered here. Okay, so this was done out of the University of Chicago, Illinois. And it's a research into the molecular insights of licorice-derived substance called glycerin for preventing or treating cancer. Well, that's a pretty bold statement. Let's see what they have to say. So they found that substance derived from the licorice plant Glyceria, they were using this to determine if they could stop the growth of prostate cancer. So they looked at this at the College of Medicine, Rockford. A research review into the molecular insights of a licorice-derived substance called glycerin for preventing cancer suggests that this could indeed work. The journal in Pharmacological Research recently published the study titled Onco-Preventative and Oncotherapeutic Potential of Licorice Tetraterpenoid compound glycerin and its derivative molecular insights. Now, let me translate that into English from medical-based speak. Onco, we look at cancer, so oncology, cancer, study of cancer. So we're looking at cancer preventative and cancer therapeutic potential of licorice. Now, licorice is a root, so licorice is an herb that we use. We've known now for, and again, no medical cures, no medical treatment am I talking about, right? Not talking about any medical advice, but we've known that licorice root has worked for coronaviruses for now well over 10 years. Just saying, right? We've been using this in a product called Sinus Support for well over a decade. And again, the science will eventually catch up, but licorice root is very, very powerful for helping with the immune system, for helping with the adrenals, from a non-medical advice standpoint. All right, so I'm going to keep it at that. Lots more research onto its potential anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer-based abilities. Not my words, direct quotes from this particular study. All right, that is it for our Friday review. Thank you so much for staying tuned each and every Friday for what's going on in the practice, as well as the different research, product reviews, and so much more. I'll be back tomorrow answering your questions on our community house calls. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend.